Photography, please. So put the cameras away if you've got yours. Another thing, these things by your side, cell phones, please check yours now and make sure it's turned off. I want to hear a phone play. Finally, after Act 2, there's an intermission. It's a 15-minute intermission. For those of you that aren't familiar with your campus, if you go out the door here and go to the left, there's a white building over there. Restrooms can be found over there, rec hall. So intermission, if you need to head over there, feel free. And I think that's about it. So I'll pray and we'll let the play get started. Lord, we thank you so much for your love, Lord. We thank you for all the activities and events we get to participate in here at Northland. Thank you for this fine arts program, Lord. And I thank you for the efforts that many people have put into it. Sarah and Kevin and many, many others. And Lord, I just pray that you be honored by their efforts. I pray that the play would go smoothly and bring us entertainment. And that everything here would bring glory to you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Get into the vein. I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to begin. I wish to goodness I'd spoken to the other evening when she told me they were going away for the summer, but now I've gone and left everything for the last minute. By George, I know what I'll do. I'll make an exercise of it. I'll write it out a dozen different ways, and then I'll send the one I think looks best. Here we are, Jack. In love with the dearest girl on earth. Tackle her like a man. And tell her so, or she'll be gone and you've lost your chance forever. She's my fate, and I'm hanged if I shan't be hers. Here goes. My darling. Well, that's rather strong, perhaps, to begin with. My dear Miss Verdun. No, that's too formal, and not a bit what I really feel. My dear... Hang it, why not? My dear Kitty. Now that's grand. Now I can go ahead like a house on fire. My dear Kitty, I beg pardon, sir. Oh, yes, very much. Go away. I'm busy.
Yes, sir, but you see we have quite a bit to do.
I'm busy with the most important affair. Get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Just as I made such a good start, too. My dear Kitty, what are you doing? Present, confound it all, what do you want?
I merely wish to say, sir, that I've laid out a few things...
All right, thank you very much. Get out.
Which I thought you wouldn't mind to take with you on your...
Fine! Take them! Keep them! Take every blessed rag I got! Only go away!
Yes, sir.
My dear Kitty...
I beg pardon, sir.
I wasn't addressing you, Present! Out of here! My dear Kitty, I say... You don't clear out of here, Present! Oh, Charlie, it's you. What is it, old chap?
Nothing, Jack. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, Charlie, don't go. It's not you. It's that fool Brassett.
Oh, what's he doing?
Only bagging all my clothes because I'm going down and worrying me like old Harry while I'm trying to write a most important letter. Don't mind me today, Charlie. I'm nervous and naggy and nonplussed.
And so am I, Jack.
Why? I've been trying to write a letter to whom?
To Miss Pettigrew.
How far have you got?
Oh, I began awfully well, but I didn't want to be too distant, and I didn't want to be too familiar. Well, so I just began, my dear Amy. And then the words failed. So I've come to you, word buds. You always know what to say and do.
Oh, do I?
Come on. You know my idiot complaint. I'm shy, you're not. Aren't I? So prescribe for you, old chap. What am I to say?
That's not a bad idea. I'll prescribe for him and take the medicine myself. So let's see. You're in love with Amy Pettigrew, and you want to know if there's any hope for you. And if so...
Well, you see, they're all off to Scotland tomorrow.
Yes, I know. And you want to see her at once. When and where better ways? Do I diagnose the case accurately?
To you, old chap.
Very good. You want to say something like this. My dear Kitty.
No, not Kitty. Amy.
Yes, of course. What was I thinking? darling, for thus addressing you. But I love you so deeply underlined.
Rather strong, Jack.
Shut up! So earnestly also underlined.
Oh, I say!
I must write and tell you so. All I ask,
But there's one obstacle to me putting it quite as frank as that, as much as I'd like to.
what is that?
Well, you see, I have an aunt.
My dear Charlie, most of us do. And what's of her?
I feel I ought to tell her first.
Well, we might as well wait till they come back from Scotland if you're going to drag an aunt into this business.
Why?
Well, you know what auntie is when she steps in.
No, I don't. You see, that's just it. I don't know her. I've never even seen her.
We won't be too hard on that aunt. After all, she hasn't interfered in your affairs much up to now.
Except to find out that when I was an orphan, she had me sent to Eton and then to Oxford. And now my guardian writes that she's coming here by early train and to have luncheon with me at 1 o'clock.
And you've never even seen her?
No. She went off to Brazil before I was born and became some sort of secretary to a very rich old Brazilian chap out there called Dom Pedro de Algos. And now, by merest accident in the world, I've seen this.
Madame, or rather Don Lucia de Aldores, the Brazilian millionaire who has taken Lord Topley's magnificent mansion in Belgravia, is an Englishwoman of genial disposition and a financial genius. Indeed, it was her capacity in this direction that earned the gratitude of her late husband and led to a romantic deathbed marriage. Well, I don't see much in that.
Go on, Jack. Read the next.
Her only relation is a nephew at Oxford. Lucky nephew.
That's me.
Oh, by George, Charlie, this is a startler. And you've never even seen her?
No. I've met all the trains up until now. I wish she'd come some other day.
No, she'll come on the next, just in time for lunch.
Yes, it's a bore. I wanted to write that letter to Amy.
I didn't know so much about that.
It's an awful difficult letter to write. Fearfully complicated.
Why?
Well, you see, I have no people or anything.
No people with an aunt like that?
But I can't expect anything from her, more than she's already given me, of course, and I'm very grateful and all that, but I wanted to see Amy and put it
Oh, by George, Charlie, I have a clean good idea.
Jack, you are a good one. But write it down and not cut me a cut.
No, not for you, for me.
For us both.
You're going on Amy, I'm in love with Kitty.
Really, Jack?
Oh, madly. Worse than anything I've taken up. Even cricket.
I was right to tell her so when you walked in. There's the letter.
I'm so glad. What's your idea?
Hang letter writing. We'll throw a luncheon party for your aunt, tea afterwards in the garden.
In the garden?
Oh, yes, I'll get leave.
Oh, but my rooms are so small.
Never mind, Charlie. I'll lend you mine. Brassett shall see to it. Brassett! Now, come on, first we'll ask the girls.
Ask the girls.
To meet your aunt.
What about Don't Spend
Hey,
You?
what's about on spending you?
Oh, I forgot. He's away in town on a few days of business.
So much the better. Brassett!
Do you think they'll come?
Now jump at it.
What makes you think so?
What do you think?
You know, Jack, I rather agree with you.
We'll send a note at once. You're right. Go ahead. My dearest Amy. Brassett, where are you? Where are you? Yes, Brassett, get someone to take a note to Mrs. Spenhughes.
Yes, sir? Yes, Jack, I've got it.
Would you and Miss Verdun
Miss Verdun,
do me the honor
the honor,
to dine with me and Mr. Chesney?
Mr. Chesney.
I'll address the envelope.
I'll address.
At his rooms, St. Old's College today at 1 o'clock. Miss Spetterview.
Miss.
Don't like that! To meet my aunt. What did you say her name was, Charlie?
Donna Lucia Dialogos.
Donna. All right, stick that down. An answer by bearer will greatly oblige.
Yours sincerely, Charles Wickham. Splendid, Jack. You're a genius.
Yes, it's a glorious opportunity. They're off to Scotland,
And we're off down.
and now we shall have them all to our service. Just up. Give him that and tell him to look sharp. Now, this sort of thing is not to be dealt with by correspondence, Charlie.
No, and we shall have them all to ourselves.
Yes. You know, we couldn't have done it if it hadn't been for your aunt. I'm beginning to love that dear old lady already. Oh, Brassett!
That's for 5.
Well, how many, sir?
For 5.
For 5, sir.
I'm afraid that won't do. Our Tabitha kitchen is somewhat exhausted.
Who is it? Charlie, how are you off a tick?
I think my guardian's rather,
Who is he? Never mind, Brassett. Get it outside. Go to Bunter's.
No good, sir. I'm afraid we owe bunters quite a bit.
Do we? It's all right, Charlie. When my check comes. Here you are, Brassett. Do the best you can with that.
Can't get a thing with that, sir. Though I'm sure I'll be all right with bunters if I say it's for me.
Very well, Brassett. Lunch for 5 and 1.
Rather short notice, sir.
All right, Brassett. Long pay, go where you like, do what you like. Only lunch for 5 at 1.
Yes, sir.
There you are, Charlie.
I say, Jack, that's my watch.
So it is. Well, now, while you and your aunt are looking at the chapel and the cloisters, Kitty and I shall have a little talk.
Yes, that's a good idea, Jack. But what about Amy and me and our little talk? She'll be in our way horribly.
Never thought of that.
I mean, she's all right as an excuse to get the girls to come here, but by herself, she'll be an awful bore.
She'll be worse than that, Charlie. She'll be a brute and a nuisance.
What shall we do?
Well, Napoleon went over the Alps by horseback, and I've been under them by train, so there must be a way out of this.
But how? Just ask someone to meet her.
Yes, someone we can trust.
But who?
Well, there's Brassett. He's a pompous sort of chap, and as awful as a corkscrew. Couldn't we turn him into a don or something for the day?
Yes, that's a good idea, Jack, but...
Oh, no, we shall want him to wait at table.
Oh, yes, so we shall.
Oh, there's Freddie Peel.
Oh, he's such a cynical chap.
He'd neglect your aunt.
Yes, and you'd want to go after our girls.
Oh, I've got it. Babbs. Fanny Babbs. Well, that's him.
Yes, why didn't we think of him before?
Oh, he's a jolly cheerful little chap. Just a fun of humour will keep your aunt in a rattling good humour. And we'll send for it at once. Brass! Go to Lord Faithful Babley's rooms, give him my compliments and tell him to come here at once.
Yes, sir. Say it's very important.
Oh, yes.
And maybe it's...
Yes, sir!
And while Babbs is doing the gooseberry with your aunt, we can have our chat with the girls.
By the by, Jack, talking of Babbs' cheerfulness, haven't you noticed something about him lately? Ever since he was so ill and went out to the Mediterranean?
I notice he's been jolly hard.
I fancy. By a few hints he's given me, I think he's a bit hearted himself.
Babbs in love?
Yes, and if I'm not much mistaken, he's as soft-hearted over a girl as...
As we are! So much the better! He'll see the need of keeping your aunt well out of the way.
By George, Jack, you'll be Prime Minister one of these days.
His lordship's compliments, sir, and he says he can't come. He has a luncheon party.
Who has he got coming?
Oh, Freddie Peel and lot of idiots like himself, I expect. He'll be howling comic songs all afternoon.
You sound awfully bad, won't it?
Oh, no, I mustn't. Brassett, late for 6. Come on, Charlie, let's go to the we'll make him come. He can't upset our plans in this selfish way. Oh, Brassett, tidy up my rooms, will you? Thank you.
Put my rooms in order first, always the way. Hurry, scurry, no time for anything. They come with a bang, they go with a bang. They do everything but pay their bills with a bang.
Jack! I said, Jack, old man. Where the dickens are you? I wanted to borrow some, I don't know, something. By George. What? Serves him right. He shouldn't leave it lying about in this ostentatious way when I'm so beastly hard up. Hello, Babbs. We've just been to your rooms to find you. We've been talking about you. Really? How do you think I'm looking? I'm splendid, old chap. Yes, I thought you'd think so. Well, must be going. Look at that! Listen, Babbs, you wanted to see us, didn't you? Oh, yes. No! Well, your door.
You know Freddie Peel, don't you? He's an old idiot. He hasn't hard little brains, has he? I'm all right. He gave a party last night. Well, ta-da!
Now listen, Babbs, we want you to stay and lunch with us.
I say, you chaps, don't play the giddy goat. I've got to meet my tutor.
Babbs, you mustn't work this hard. You're looking quite pulled down.
Am I really?
I was only telling Jack so just now.
Do you settle that?
Not you, Babbs, but you mustn't worry over all this study. You'll be a great man of one sort or another. One of these days, without all that.
That's what I think, you know, but I must do something. We've had a lot of Johnnies in our family. Great Johnnies in the Army and Navy and things.
Oh, I bet they never killed themselves with study.
No, but I must do something.
Yes, Babbs, you must. Stay to lunch. Charlie's aunt came to visit.
Oh, is she? What fun. I know Charlie visits his uncle sometimes when he's hard up, so it's only right his aunt should return to visit.
That's just what I'm looking for, Babbs. A jolly smart chap like you with a fund of humor and a lot of brilliant conversation. Yes, Babbs, that's it. Take interest in him, he was a charming lady. Yes? Who is she? Why, Charlie's aunt.
What's she like? What is she, Babbs? We don't quite know. I'm to see her today for the very first time.
I say, Charlie, she may turn out to be an awful little crock.
Babbs, she's a widow and a millionaire. That's not what it is.
Put me down for a chance, Charlie. I'll take a chance.
We didn't think to ask Freddie Peel, did we, Charlie?
No.
No. He's an awful idiot. I say, what's her name?
Donna Lucia Diabodorus.
Oh. What a name!
Listen, Babbs, it is no do. You must study tasting lunch. You'll find Charlie's aunt a charming old lady.
Charming old lady! Haven't you got anything younger coming?
Yes, 2 others.
Nice. Young.
Yes.
How many did you say?
2.
Oh, I see. 1 for each of you and the old crock for me, eh? If thanks, I'm off.
This is an awful serious affair.
I should think so with an old crock like that.
I want your help as a friend.
Oh, a friend we can trust, eh?
Rather.
Listen, we'll take you into our confidence. No harm by straight as a die. We're in love.
What, Charlie as well? Oh, you silly goose.
And no fool of a flirtation business either. The real downright serious thing.
Yes, and if you knew the Babbs as well, the girls as well as we do, you wouldn't wonder at it.
I say, have you proposed?
I know, that's just it.
Oh, I see. You want me to propose for you?
No, of course not. We'll take care of that for ourselves. That's why we've asked him to come.
You know, Babbs, you don't understand our feelings a bit.
Don't I though? I say, haven't you fellows noticed how sad I've been lately?
Yes.
What is it?
I don't know for sure, but I think I'm in love too.
What makes you think that?
I'm always wanting to be alone and hear the birds sing. I'm getting poetry. I can't sleep.
Well, you've got all the symptoms, Babbs. Now, come on, sit down and tell us all about it.
You remember when I took the yacht round to the Mediterranean? Well, at Monte Carlo, I came across an English officer named Delahaye, quite penniless and dying. You know, Jack, he tried to commit suicide.
Bad luck at the tables.
Yes, he beggared himself and his only child. The sweetest little girl I ever saw. And to amuse him and keep his spirits up, I used to play cards with him.
And what became of him?
Oh, he died, poor fellow.
And what became of her? The sweetest little girl you ever saw.
I lost sight of her. A woman traveling home that way from South America, I believe, took charge of her and brought her to England. You know, Jack, I tried to tell her that
You loved her.
Yes, but she was in such grief.
It all oozed out of your fingertips and the points of your hair.
Exactly. And after all that, you know, then maybe I should have been rejected. And then I should have been a silly goose.
Well, at any rate, you can sympathize with us.
What was it?
do as you are. We won't let you go now that we've got
I
you.
said, I've got something else to do.
What?
Something awfully important.
Well, what is it?
I'm going to play in some amateur theatricals.
Right.
But I've given my word.
What are you playing?
A lady, an old lady, and I've never acted in my life before.
That's his tutor, eh, Charlie?
And I was going to try the things before those fellows come.
Well, you can try them on here. Where are
Oh, in my room's in a box in the bed.
they? Fetch some brass.
No, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll fetch them.
You know, Babbs, you don't sympathize with the bit.
Don't I, though? I only wish I could see my own little girl.
She'll turn up one of these days, Babbs. Now, what did you say her name was?
I haven't the slightest idea.
His lordship's dress clothes.
Say, Brass, you're an awfully good chap. Jack, do you have half a crown?
Charlie, have you half a crown?
No, Jack, I have.
Brass, lend me half a crown, will you? Here you are, Babbs.
Thank you. Brass, here you are.
Yes, what have you got here?
Chocolates.
Chocolates?
Goodness, no, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try them on after lunch while you're all in the garden.
No, Babbs, I won't do it at all. We shall want you with us. You can try them on here. It won't take long, will
It's
it?
only a minute or two. You know, I've lost an awful lot of time over these theatricals. But next term, I need to work.
Oh, here it is. Here's the name. Oh, so it is. Mr. Chesley. I wonder if you're in.
No, here they are. Your man's not come yet.
Good gracious, Jack, what shall we do?
We shall. What? Right. Well, show them in. We can explain. We can explain. Show them in, Roger. Oh, you've come. So glad you could come.
Yes, we were so very pleased to be able to come. Weren't we, Amy? Oh, yes, Mr. Wickham, I hope we're not too early.
Oh, no.
Yes, you didn't mention any time, Mr. Chesley.
Oh, no. We're delighted. She'll be here any minute. Sorry.
So this is where you think and study, do all your work and everything.
Oh, yes. We do a lot of that sort of thing here.
Jolly quarters here.
Amy, I'm so glad you were able to come here today. You're off to Scotland tomorrow. We shall miss you so much.
Well, yes, Uncle always takes us to some dreadfully remote place where we never see a soul and it is so dreary.
But why does he?
I don't know.
It's a shame.
Why? Are you sorry we're going?
Oh, sorry. Why, it's put me and Jack into a perfect fever. That's why we're so anxious to see you here today.
What's lucky, Uncle is away in town, or I don't think we could have come.
Why?
Well, I don't know, but he raises such odd objections, and then, you know, he's so peculiar about Kitty.
Why?
Well, she's an heiress, you know, and he's her guardian.
No, Miss Fairdunnett, have you forgotten the party the other night? I never shall.
No.
No? Ah, those stolen moments in the garden were some of the happiest of all my life. Out there in the moonlight. Moonlight is the perfect atmosphere for sentiment.
I wonder how many people have said that before.
Now, Kitty, when you like, you can be an awful plague, but today you were quite cynical.
I know, I'm thinking of that man,
Of what man?
of my guardian, Mr. Spedigue, who hurries us away from all of his friends. Directly we get to know anyone really well, for fear of,
Well, for fear of what?
I don't know.
Now, why does he?
Because he's a selfish, wicked old man.
Are you really so sad to go away?
No, I'm just angry, but don't speak of it. Or as Amy says, I shall cry. What a dear, sweet old lady your aunt must be, Mr. Wickham. We are longing to meet her. Where is she?
Jack! Where's my aunt? What? But she hasn't quite arrived.
Oh, no, Kitty, Mr. Wickham's aunt hasn't come yet. Hasn't come? Oh, well, we'll just go do some shopping. Shan't be long. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You see that? Over in the shop when they knew your aunt hadn't come yet.
Makes an awful difference, doesn't it?
Now listen, you go to the station and bundle the old girl here in a fly.
The old girl? What do you mean?
Well, your aunt. Now I'll look after lunch and keep an eye on that.
I say, Jack, I feel happier since I've seen him, don't you?
Yes.
Now go!
Listen, Jack, do you have any hairpins?
Oh, Gracie, oh no!
Can I send your man for some?
Yes, certainly.
I say, have you got sixpence? Afraid not. See, you haven't got anything.
Have you?
Brassett, I gave you half a crown just now. Do you mind making it 2 shillings and getting me 6 penny worth of hairpins?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brassett. King of the change.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Were those the girls?
Yes. No, but why did you bolt out of that like for? They might have seen you.
I didn't know they were here.
I guess somebody else. Come on. There was a lot of hope in what Kitty said just then. In another moment, I would have told her that I... Oh, never mind.
Yes, come in.
Jack!
Oh, Dad!
Oh, dear boy!
Oh, good to see you, Dad. Where did you come from?
From town, my lad, to have a chat with you and to bring you your check.
If you're a brick, Dad, thanks.
A bit overbig, my boy, after all my years in India.
A bit crisp around the edges, but humbug pictorially.
Hey, boy, how do you make that
How old are you?
out? What would you say to 50?
50?
What?
I don't believe it.
And you, Jack, seem much older than I was at your age. I suppose it's the times. Even the old college shows it. New ivy, new paint.
Well, alma mater's an old beauty still, Dad.
I suppose she is. Well, we all grow old.
And as presentably as possible. Why even you at 50?
What?
50 years ago, would have been a stout, white-haired, or bald, top-booted, domineering old boy. But here you are, a smart, bang-up-to-date sort of chap who can talk to you like a chum. Now, how have you done?
Don't know.
But do you eat well?
Never noticed.
There you are. Consequently, health good, temper perfect. You're going to be great cups, Dad.
There you are, my boy. There's your check to go on with.
Thanks, Dad. Ooh, I haven't seen half enough of you.
I see your hospitality.
Oh, Dad,
Never mind. I was the same way when I was a lad. I never do everything monstrously at college. But settle up. I'm very satisfied with you, Jack. It really is something to go down from college with a record like yours.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
But now, my boy, we must begin to think.
Think?
Yes, now that I've come into the family title, as you know, I have also, which you don't know, come into the family difficulties and debts.
Debts?
Which are far more than I expected, with the result that all the money I've been saving for you in India goes to pay them. In short, Jack, you and I for the next few years will be, comparatively speaking, poor men.
Poor man? This settles me with old Spettigue.
However, I'm in hopes of a small appointment for you in Bengal.
In Bengal? What a horrible place! His lordship's hairpins. Oh, confound his hairpins! The dad will be the old one. I've got to get rid of Babbs if the dad stays. Oh, stays? That's not bad. Dad, couldn't this thing be settled with a wealthy marriage?
A wealthy? No, that's the sort of thing I'd rather deprecate.
Now listen, Dad, my chum, Charley Wickham, his aunt's coming to pay him a visit today. She's a widow.
A widow?
And a millionaire.
And a millionaire.
Oh, and a charming lady.
No, Jack, I don't think I'd want you to go through a thing of this kind merely for the sake of money.
Not for me, for you.
For me? For you, young rascal! No, I shall never marry again.
Listen, Dad, don't be rash. Where are the things?
At the hotel.
Go back and change. Make yourself look as presentable as possible. And come back here today. And put a flower in your buttonhole. I say, Jack.
No!
Charley Wickham, my
Oh, glad to know you, my boy. Glad to know you.
A nephew, nice boy. You'll like it.
I thought it was the fire brigade.
And don't forget, Dad, put a flower in your buttonhole. It takes years off a man. A flower.
No, Jack, you come and lunch with me at the Mitre.
Don't be rushed, Dad. Think of her. See her first. See her first.
All right, Jack. I'll have a look at her.
Now, what is it, Charley? Read that. Important business. Don't expect me for a few days. Lucy, the other door is. Oh no! She's not coming. No, but Charley, she must. You go. Why? Temper. No time. Oh, but the girls won't stay without a chaperone.
Couldn't we ask the proctor's wife, old Mrs.
Well, she sits and stares like an
What?
Look at me.
What is it? George, it's splendid! Charlie, come take a look at this! Do you know what a pious fraud is?
Pious fraud?
First cousin to a miracle! Look!
What is it?
Babbs! Your aunt!
Babbs, my aunt?
You want to make the best of him?
Look here.
What's this? Splendid!
Who's that?
The girls?
The girls?
It's Charlie's aunt, can't come.
How can't she? I'll go take these things off.
Oh, no. Stop if you do.
Stop? What do you mean?
Well, you must be Charlie's aunt. Me? Miss Verdun. Donna Lucia Diabodores. Charlie's aunt. Go on, say something.
How do you do?
We won't buy you 4 dollars yet, but you hadn't tried, Jeff. So we brought you these.
Thank you.
And that was very pleasant.
What on earth am I to do with these things? Stick them in your dress. Oh, he's a little overwhelmed with meeting his aunt today for the first time. Why the dickens don't you say something? What the dickens am I to say? Talk about the weather! Charlie weather!
College students will do anything. You know, you're placing me in a terribly false position.
Would you like for me to arrange those for you, Donna Lucia? After all, you know, we do have some nice weather sometimes here in Coral, England.
What the hell does she mean by that?
Oh, you're a foreigner!
Foreigner? What did you say my name was?
Donna Lucia Diabodores.
What am I, Irish?
No, English, married a Portuguese girl. You're a widow from Brazil and a millionaire.
I say Charlie.
And why are you children?
That's all right. Now we can go on ahead. Yes, it is lovely weather for England. I say, will I take them to see the chapel and the cloisters?
No, you leave that to Charlie. We'll take care of them.
I'm sure Oxford is all very new to you, Donna Lucia, but it's lovely in any weather. Amy and I will show you all about it.
I should be delighted.
You're staying till tomorrow, are you not?
I say, am I staying until tomorrow?
No!
I'm afraid Auntie can't stay after today.
No, you see, it's my washing day.
She has so much business to attend to.
Yes, lawyers and stocks. Yes, stocks and socks. All very important now.
We're so sorry. We've so long to know you.
Oh, have you, my dear?
Mr. Wickham has told us so much about you that he has made us quite love you.
Oh, has he, my dear?
Yes, and he's so grateful. He says everything to you and never communicates. Oh, he's such a good, frank, upright man. It was noble of you.
But it was only my duty to see see after the welfare of my poor brother.
Sisters, you
And brother-in-laws, often girls.
boy!
I'll see twins in a minute.
Yes, but it was so good of you to find out. You were so far away in a foreign land that he might have been left to starve or to fall into cruel hands. But you have a good, kind, affectionate nature.
Oh, have I, my dear?
Yes, anyone can see it in your face.
No!
As if I can tell my whole heart to you.
Don't let her, I'm not going to. There. Yes, my dear, I'm sure you are a very sweet young woman of whom I'm sure I could quite soon become very fond. And you must tell me all you like someday. When you know me better.
Oh, I feel as if I've known you for years and years already.
Jealous! I'm sorry, but it was very nice.
Mr. Chesney? Mr. Chesney?
What is it?
Is Mr. Spettigue inquiring for your rooms at the gate, sir?
Oh, no.
Mrs. Spettigue, man! I thought he was away in London!
You must send him away.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Amy.
Don't you ask! What am I to say? What am I to do? Stay where you are, Babbs. Tell them what you like. All the other windows.
Why doesn't somebody answer this door? Why doesn't somebody answer this door?
And what do you want?
I wish to see Mr. Chesney at once.
Where did you get that hat? Take it off! Well, don't sit down, sir! Oh, I'm not sitting down. I didn't ask you to sit down.
We wait back to the present, ma'am. I wish to see Mr. Chesney at once.
Well, you can't see him. He's not present. I am the only person present.
But the porter told me that two young ladies, my niece and my ward...
I tell you, I am the only young lady present. Didn't he tell you he saw them go out? No! Very well, then. What do you want?
They've gone into the garden.
They've done nothing of the kind.
They've gone into the town.
Why didn't you think of that before? And now, sir, having got all the information you are likely to get.
Madam, I apologize. Good morning.
My dears.
So sweet of you, darling.
Look at him, Jack. I just think he does that again. Oh, no, my father's here. Donna's here. Donna's here. Excuse me. Just a minute. Take care. Here's my father.
I say, am I in relation to him?
John, from Brazil.
Brazil. Where's that?
You know, where the nuts come from. So, John, this is on my father.
Delighted.
Mr. Spettigue, my father.
John. Thank you, ma'am. Now, Jack, has she come?
Yes.
Capital.
Go on, Charlie, introduce your aunt.
Donna Lucia Diamadores, Sir Francis Chesney, Jack's father.
How do you do, Sir Francis? I'm Charley's aunt. Brazil. Where the nuts come from?
How do you do? Jack! What? My dear boy, is that the lady?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my George!
Come on, Charlie's told you all about it.
Charlie's told you all about him.
My name is Charles.
My nephew Charles says he'll be so much about you. In his letters. In his letters. That's all right, isn't it? You! Not yourself!
I'm much obliged to Mr. Wickham, but I've only met him today for the first time.
See? Yes, but I've simply been photographing you to Charlie for years.
Remember, he's a...
You've only come to England today and met Charlie for the first time.
Why didn't you say so before?
Jack! My dear boy, it's impossible.
What, Dad?
Well, look at her!
Oh, by George! Luncheon is ready, sir. Great. Stop. You
You take my father. Be careful how you speak to him.
Dad, will you take Donna Lucia?
Allow me, Donna Lucia. Sit here.
You've been sent by me, Sir Francis.
I shall be delighted. You've travelled a great deal, I suppose.
Oh yes, I've been a great traveller. I remember I came all the way from London only this morning.
Aunt! 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 Butter? Miss Pettigrew?
Flower!
Oh, do you like it? Yes. Will you accept it?
Thank you. Well, have it stuffed.
Pleasanter today than usual, I fancy. Donna Lucia, may I have the pleasure? Of course.
Brass, can we bring the jam, please?
I can't find the jam, sir.
What do you mean you can't find the jam? It's right here this morning. Brass, where's it got to? Charlie, do you know where the jam is? No. Donna Lucia, do you know where the jam is?
What, haven't you got any? Well, I thought you'd forget something, so I brought some with me in my bag. In my bag, Brasset.
Ah! So I was right after all, and that old fool of a woman told me they were not here. Mrs. Smith, you don't address me, sir. And this is how you take advantage of my absence. Mr. Spectacle, don't address me, sir. I have no wish to hold any converse with you. But won't you allow us to my business is with this young man, sir, and not with you.
Yes, but you don't listen to either of them.
Go away, madam, and don't interfere.
Where did you get that hat?
You forget yourself, sir.
Perhaps you remember, sir, that ladies are present.
I disapprove of their presence and request that they return with me at once. Perhaps we could discuss this on a more fitting occasion.
Oh yes, certainly. Let's call a game.
You are a very foolish old woman, and I must beg of you not to interfere. Ladies, come.
Perhaps you remember, sir, that not only are ladies present, but you cannot put such an affront upon Mr. Wickham's friend.
I don't know them, I don't know them.
Introduce me, Mr. Wickham.
Mr. Spedidew, Sir Francis Chesney.
Mr. Chesney is my son, sir. And this lady is Mrs. Donna.
I pray don't introduce him to me. I've been sufficiently insulted by the ill gentleman already.
I speak for my own feelings when I say that I am deeply annoyed. On the returning from town, my niece and I will luncheon with these two young gentlemen without my permission.
To meet Mr. Wickham's aunt, sir.
Indeed.
There is no indeed about it. I repeat, to meet Mr. Wickham's aunt.
In my mind, it matters little.
In my mind, it matters everything. Therefore, allow me to introduce you. Donna Lucia de Almodores, Mr. Jack, what's his confounded name?
Spedidew, Donna Lucia.
Mr. Spedidew.
The celebrated millionaire. Oh, how do you do? How do you do?
I'm Charley's aunt. Still. Isn't that scum?
I'm saying this week. Oh, I am sorry. Very sorry.
He's apologized, asked him to lunch. Well, I thought you were very rude, you know. If you apologize,
Oh, by all means, I am sorry. Very sorry.
stay to lunch, won't you?
If you wish it, then I am forgiven.
Forgiven.
Here.
Allow me, Donna Lucia.
No. Allow me.
so wonderful, lady. No doubt about it. A bit singular to look at, perhaps. Then there are some of your old ladies. Nobody believe impossible. But he didn't seem to look worse than 2 or 3 I could think of holding very high positions. Both the old gents had got their iron out, if they only knew. Now, I fancy Sir Francis's favourite, though Mr. Spettigue fancies himself. Well, college gents will do anything. What are you laughing at? Oh, nothing, sir. Just thinking old aunt of mine.
What?
Uncle, sir.
Mind your own business and look after tea. Do you see? Tea.
Tea, sir. Yes, sir.
It's out here.
Out here, sir.
You seem to stare at me like that. I've got special permission.
Oh, beg pardon.
For Kitty. Where is she? It's all right. Everything's all settled down. Babbs! You know, he were the life of me 2 or 3 times where he walked into food at lunch as if he hadn't had it for a month. We're over the worst. But everything's all settled down, and I haven't talked to you with Kitty, but I told her to meet me here where we can speak quietly. Oh, here she is. Charley, get out of here. I have a most particular appointment here with Kitty, so look it.
But so have I, Jack.
With Kitty?
No, with Amy.
Oh, we both made appointments in the same place. Confound it, what are we to do?
Well, they are your rooms.
Oh, yes, but you're my guest. I've got an idea. We'll toss for it. Do you have any money?
Half a penny, that's all.
Sunday. Heads, you and Amy. Tails, me and Kitty.
But that's all the money I've got.
Well, I've been looking for you everywhere.
Oh, yes, I'm here. In fact, waiting. I was beginning to fear you wouldn't come. Why didn't you go? No tact.
But what about me and Amy?
Oh, Mr. Wickham, there you are.
Yes, I was coming. I was waiting. I'm here.
Beastly awkward. I say, Charley, have you shown Miss Spettigue all around the garden?
Yes, Jack, I have. 2 or 3 times. In fact, we just came from there. I wish he'd leave us.
It's a lovely garden, isn't it?
Well, yes, I suppose it is.
Oh, suppose! No, you haven't half seen the garden, Charley. Miss Spettigue hasn't half seen the garden. Take her and show her the roses and primroses and cabbages and things. Oh, and while you're going, you can recite those beautiful lines of yours to our garden in summer.
Jack, don't tell her I write poetry. She'll think I'm an awful idiot.
Oh, and don't forget Miss Spettigue tea in half an hour.
Oh, very well, Mr. Chesney.
Jack, the others are in the garden. It worries the life out of me to see
You
Babbs.
don't see him, it's a large garden. Keep out of his way. Now, Kitty, dear Kitty, we are alone.
But don't you think it was rather rude of us to send them away like that?
And now we tossed for it.
What?
You see, they'll be much happier together alone. And I felt as I haven't had 5 minutes with you. Safe on some visible interruption. I was beginning to fear you'd think me rather rude, neglecting you as I had done.
Oh, no, not at all. We've had a lovely time.
Yes.
But I was thinking,
Yes?
I was thinking we ought to be going now.
To go? Now? No!
Why not?
Before I've had a word with you? Oh, Kitty. Won't you sit down? I have something important to say to you.
Indeed, Mr. Chesney.
Indeed. It is fair done. There are times when a fellow's got to think a lot and think long.
I suppose so.
Yes. But there are times when a fellow mustn't stop to think, or if he does, he'll spoil his chance.
Yes.
Yes. Very well then. Miss Verdun. Kitty. Oh my dear Kitty.
Hey, beg your pardon. No, don't mind me. I only wanted a word with my boy here.
Oh, I'll just run into the garden. See the roses and primroses and cabbages and things.
Well, Dad, anything important?
Yes, Jack, it is.
What is it?
You know I want to see you get on in the world and make a mark, as I know you will if you get your chance.
You needn't tell me this, Dad.
Well, Jack, having thought it over, I'm determined you shall continue the career I originally mapped out for you. Yet, seeing a way out of the difficulty, I've determined to take your advice, my boy, and marry a lady of wealth.
Oh, I see. You've fallen victims to the fascinations of some young and lovely...
No, Jack, she's not lovely, and I'm afraid she's not over yet. But she has one thing in her favor. She has money, which, after all, is the real object in this instance.
Well, Dad, as long as you're satisfied, go in and whip.
And I have to thank you, my boy, for the tip.
Thank me for the tip. Dad, I don't remember. Who is she? What's her name?
You'll be delighted when I tell you.
Yes, well...
Can't you guess?
No, Dad, I can't.
Donna Lucia de Almedores.
Oh, no, Dad, this is impossible.
Impossible? Why, you yourself suggested, and for your sake, my lad, I'm going to do it.
No, but Dad, you can't.
Can't? Why not? Is there anything against the lady's reputation?
Oh, no, but you mustn't. You can't.
Mustn't, can't. Why, Jack, what a boy you are. Didn't you tell me to go to the hotel, change my things, put a flower in my buttonhole, and by George, Jack, I believe the flower's done the trick?
She gave it away, Dad.
My dear boy, she's explained all that.
This is awful. What? Dad, circumstances have altered since then.
In what way?
You know you're too good. You're not the man to be thrown away like
Say
this.
no more, my boy. Your consideration for me settles it. This will put you forward years. Had she been young and lovely, she would have taken a look at me. As it is, I flatter myself she's taken a rather fancy to me. And as for old Spedigue, despite his marked attentions, I don't think he stands a ghost of a chance with me.
Oh, Spedigue, attention.
So, Jack, wish me luck. Wish me the best of Britain.
No, Dad, take time and think it over.
Think it over. That's not the way of an old soldier. Ah, you go to your rooms and get myself some rattling good tea.
What is that young monkey doing? Jack! I wish you'd speak to Babbs. He's carrying on disgracefully. He's taken Amy away from me and gone off round the garden with her. That's nothing compared to what's going on here, Charley. Do you hear that? Yes. What is it? Oh, my Dad, getting himself ready. What for? To propose to Babbs, that's all. We should have found out the disgrace. How could you let it go on? You don't blame me. It's all of your one-headed ass, not knowing your own mind, and leaving us in the lurch. I could strangle her. What are we going to do? We've got to find Babbs and put him up to the governess game. Find Babbs for Jack. Come on, Charley. We'll run it on different ways. We'll find him. But can't you just end this? Will you shut up, Charley? We must keep our heads now. We're doing everything.
Now I'm ready for anybody or anything. I didn't tell the dear boy, more particularly when he raised objections, but she promised to meet me here in 10 minutes. Time's up. Time is up. My dear Donna... It's that old fool Spedigue, my flower in his coat. Are you looking for anybody?
No.
What's he hanging about here for? Are you in want of anything?
No. I was only thinking, it's a very lovely afternoon. Perhaps you haven't seen the garden yet? It's looking very lovely. You ought to give it a look before you go.
Before I go. What's he stopping for?
Why does he remain? She promised to meet me here in 10 minutes, and time's up. Time's up.
What's he stopping for? I must tell him to go.
I must think of something to get rid of him.
Seeing as how you're not doing anything...
No, don't mind me. Don't
I was
mind me.
only thinking perhaps it might be as well if you rejoined the ladies in the garden. They might think it rude, both of us being away.
Perhaps so. Perhaps so. She's in the garden.
Well, she doesn't appear to be coming. I think I'll go have more tea.
Oh, Dad, you haven't seen Donna Lucia, have you?
No, Jack, I'm not.
That's fortunate.
I'm waiting for her here.
Waiting for her here?
Yes, Jack, I didn't tell you before, but I've an appointment with her and she's overdue, so clear out, my boy.
No, but I mustn't see her until I talk to Babbs. Oh, Dad, come to think of it, I have seen her only a moment ago.
Oh, where?
Oh, in the garden.
In the garden? Hanging up that old Spedigue there.
Oh, no. No, Babbs isn't there, but where's he got to?
Charlie, you found him? No, haven't you?
No, I've been all over the place.
So have I. And worst of it, he's got Amy with him. Shit.
Bring that monkey's...
Look at him. Isn't it?
Mr. Wickham, there you are. Do you think you've lost us?
Yes, I was afraid I did.
Where have you been with that girl, you fool? Nowhere. Stop where you are. I have something to tell you.
Oh, have you?
Charlie, have you shown Miss Steady the chapel? It's an awfully pretty chapel. You might, why didn't you notice?
I'll punch his head in if he does it again.
What do you mean with this fool of a game? What game? All you needed to do was look up at those two old chaps, and here you are. But I'm no star.
Oh no, I shouldn't argue if I were you.
Listen, I want to put you on your guard.
On my guard. Oh, thank you!
Yes, Babbs, my dad's going to propose to you.
Oh, is he? Well, not going to say yes. Not for you or anyone else. I'll see you hang fast.
Of course not. All you've got to do is be calm and refuse him.
Be calmly refuse him. When a proposal puts anyone in a flutter, even you know that.
All you've got to do is remember that you're a real old lady.
How on earth am I to remember that I'm a real old lady with my trousers on?
Never mind your trousers. Oh, wait, now he's asking me. Please call me.
I've never been proposed to before.
See, he's taking you so much by surprise. But mind you, refuse him.
Oh, yes, I'll refuse him.
Really, it's too bad. She made the proposition herself. It was a definite proposition of her own. Well, ladies are perversely unpunctual. There you are. I was beginning to be afraid and popped into the garden to find you. It's so good of you to come. Won't you sit down? By George, got her at last. Now for the plunge. I'll begin with a compliment. I wonder what's a real age. However, a woman's never too old for a compliment, so here goes. Donna Lucia. You'll pardon the rude metaphor of an old campaign, I'm sure, but to meet you here today for the first time, as I have done, is to me like a lonely traveler coming across some bright little floweret by the wayside.
Really?
Yes, Donna Lucia, yes. By George, that's a good start.
What to say to that, I wonder? I guess, I'm sure that's very nice and very kind of you.
By George, he looks anything between 50 and 100. Well, I've put myself to it, I must come to the point. Donna Lucia, do you know what a man longs for when he's lonely, wretched, desolate?
Bit to eat.
What a woman doesn't have one a bit! No, Donna Lucia, this is what he longs for. He longs to plant in his own heart that bright little floweret.
I know. By the wayside. Does he really?
Yes, Donna Lucia, that one does. And I have come all the way from India to find that floweret.
Oh, you must be tired. Take a chair.
Thank you, Donna Lucia. It's a long way.
Oh, quite a long walk.
I have found it.
Then why don't you wear it in your buttonhole?
Will you let me? Or will you be given away to another as before?
I remember. I was a naughty girl this morning.
You must sit at the head of my table, walk by my side, dwell in my heart forever.
He's gonna show me a conjuring trick.
But I'll waste no more words. I've come to the point with a soldier's bluntness. Donna Lucia, will you be my wife? Will you be my floweret?
But you see, you've taken me so much by surprise.
Then I may hope.
No. Don't hope. I wouldn't hope if I were you. The fact is, I must refuse you. I'm a nurse.
A nurse?
I say, don't be downhearted. I'll tell you what I'll do if you like.
Yes.
I shall be like a sister to you.
A sister, only a sister.
Only a sister, nothing more.
And no words of mine can alter your decision.
Afraid not. See, I'm in a more peculiar position than I could ever explain. The fact is, I'm a woman with a history.
And you'll accept my regrets and apologies for ever having broached the subject.
Anytime you're passing through.
Refused. What a relief.
Oh.
I'm sorry, though, for the boy's sake.
Here's a fine position.
You fool! Why did you go make a fool of my dad like that for?
Oh, I didn't make a fool of the fool, you fool. Did you hear what he told me?
Yes? Floweret?
By the wayside. That's a nice thing, isn't it, huh?
Why did you cut him short and refuse him at once?
I couldn't cut him short until he proposed. No lady could. Why, I should find myself in the divorce courts before I know where I am. Yes, old Spetague. I shall land him one, I know I shall. I'm off.
Ah, Mr. Chesney, have you seen...
Why did you talk like that for? Anyhow, they don't affect my future happiness. All the same, I haven't had my chatted with Kitty. Why couldn't Donna Lucia turn up as promised instead of causing us all this trouble? I hate the sight of her before I even see her!
First off the left, thank you very much. First off the left, man, said Ella. Oh yes, here it is, Mr. John Chesney. Shall I knock? Yes, do, my dear. Chesney. The name sounds familiar. Why couldn't my nephew have remained in his rooms and not compel me to follow him about like this? You telegraphed to say you couldn't come. I know, my dear. And then you changed your mind. Yes, for about the first time in my life. Why? Oh, some vague desire to see him without his knowing. Knock again, dear. The porter said they may all be in the garden. I could roam about these old places all day. Isn't it all beautiful? Dream away, Ella. I shall wait till someone comes. Oh, to live among these leafy estates, ancient spires and sculptured nooks, like silent music, a scholar's fairyland. But to one poor sublunary being, not quite so young as she used to be, a little fatiguing. And how lovely it must be by the moonlight. The shadows have no sudden fears, but are only folds in the mantle of sleep, and all is peace. And the sentinel angel of the night smiles to heaven and whispers back, all is well, sweet Babbs, all is well. You fanciful little woman. But what has put all this about angels and so forth into your head today? Oh, I don't know. I think I can trace back all the little byways and slyways of thought that generally lead in one direction. Oh no, it's all so sweet here. So it was there, by moonlight, seen from the bridge of a certain yacht, the rippling sea, the blue night and brilliant stars. You see how I remember your words, and how a certain someone who told you as you listened to the chime of the ship's bell,
that you look like the angel of the watch? He was a flattering kind of person, that someone. What was his name again?
I've told you so often.
Northland, Lord Babbs. But I don't want your mind fixed on these things, my dear. Why, I'd almost forgotten to tell you. I've invested your poor father's money for you. And thanks to his forethought for his little girl, he's ready to be independent for life. And what's worse, independent of me.
Independent?
But you won't be, Ella?
No.
For I've grown to love the little orphan I met in such grief in a strange land so much that I'm not independent of her. So, let's make a bargain. Put that dreadful evidence of my dependence aside and let it grow. And be my little girl and call me Auntie, will you?
Yes, Auntie, yes.
How did your poor father come to have so large a sum of money by him like that? I thought he lost it all.
Papa won it.
Won it? When?
During his illness.
From whom?
From Lord Fancourt Beverley.
Is Lord Babbs a gambler too?
No!
Oh.
But Auntie, I've all the money now, and if ever we meet, may I give it back?
I don't think he'd take it.
Why not?
It seems to me he took too much trouble to lose it. But I'm not going to speak for him. I don't want you ever to leave. Ah, my dear, you've set me thinking now.
Have I? What about?
Oh, all about someone who...
Oh, do tell me.
It was before I went abroad, to Brazil. I was very young, and he was very shy. He never called me the angel of the watch, but he did get as far as a stammering compliment and a blush, and then...
And then?
He was ordered off with his regiment.
Without ever?
Without ever.
Oh, Auntie.
It was at a party the evening before he went away.
And you've never loved anyone since?
I was a sentimental young lady in those days.
Oh, what was his name, Auntie?
Frank Chesney. How strange. I'm afraid we're intruding.
Not at all. The college grounds are open to everyone. I am, so to speak, at home here merely because these are my son's rooms.
Mr.
Chesney.
And you, pardon my asking, are you, or rather were you, Lieutenant Frank Chesney?
I was.
And you don't remember me?
I acknowledge with regret I have no recollection whatever.
It must be more than 20 years since.
20 years?
He doesn't remember me.
Oh, 20 years is a long time.
20 years? Where was the regiment then, I wonder?
Mrs. Beverley smiled. Everyone's card but my own, of course. Then you've forgotten the day you first embarked for India.
No.
But you've forgotten the evening before.
No, not altogether. Lucy? Lucy, good gracious! And to think that at that very evening... But you don't remember that, of course.
No.
No, because you never knew. By George, I nearly made you a vow that night. And to think, we've never met in all this time, nearly over 20 years, I'll say, eh?
I'm afraid so.
Lucy, I remember the party perfectly. You were in white, tied up with blue.
Tied with blue, like a chocolate box.
You must be my son, he's a splendid fellow. These are his rooms. And this is lent them to a young college friend named Wickham.
Yes, Wickham.
Yes, who's entertaining some ladies. 2 young ladies, and his aunt.
His aunt.
His lady from Brazil.
From Brazil.
Don Lucia de Alvadores. I must introduce you.
Auntie, what does he mean?
Wait a moment, my dear. Do I understand you to say that Donna Lucia de Alvadores is here, actually here?
In the garden, or was 5 minutes ago. Do you know her?
I've heard of her. Do I stay and see this out, or return to town?
May I trouble you?
Certainly.
Mrs. Beverly Smythe.
Auntie!
All fine, Donna Lucia. And the boys. Or perhaps you would mind coming into the garden to meet them.
With pleasure. I'm quite curious to see them. My niece, Miss Delahaye.
How do you do?
Colonel?
Sir Francis Chesney.
Come, Ella.
This way. Jack, my boy. If that had been Donna Lucia, things might have been very different.
game of some kind. Well, I think it's rather dangerous running about like that. I'm not sure I got sight of his lordship's trousers.
Now, finally, we are alone, and I can speak with you. Oh, Kitty, my dear Kitty.
But Jack, look.
Oh. Did you, for God, Babbs, get out of here!
I'm laying the cloth for tea, sir.
Get out of here, man!
You gave orders.
Put it back half an hour, quick! Can't you see I'm engaged?
Oh, really, sir? I congratulate you!
Is he confound you? Yes, now, Kitty. My dear Kitty.
Yes, Jack, you've said that before.
Don't interrupt me, Kitty. I go straight at those things, and I don't mean to hesitate over this.
Is it that you don't care what you do? Or that you attach so much importance to it?
Well, it's both. Mix. Oh, but Kitty, my dear Kitty.
Yes, Jack?
Oh, do be serious, Kitty. In a few hours, you'll be hundreds of miles away, and it might be years before I see you again, unless...
Unless
Will you listen?
I can hurt myself.
Now, I told you how my father intended me for Parliament and all that.
Yes?
Yes, well, he tells me now that for the next 3 years, I shall have to give up all that and earn my own living.
Well, that will do you no harm, Jack.
Oh, see, that's what I think. You see, I've done well up here. I've worked hard. And work tells wherever you are. So I intend to turn to and... Now, all right. One way or another. I've broken the ice at last.
The dear fellow.
Oh, I hope they'll keep away.
I'm sure I wish you the best of luck, Jack.
Oh, Kitty. I shall be all right in time. The question is, will you wait?
Wait, what for?
No, I didn't mean that.
Oh, you didn't mean it.
No, what I meant was that before I say anything further, I shall let you understand what I've been telling you.
Yes, Jack. What was that?
Well, to be perfectly frank and lay it all plainly before you, my situation in life will be something in...
The city.
Oh, yes, that's right. My home...
Suburban.
Exactly. Transit...
Bus or rail.
Income...
Small.
Extra income...
Precarious.
But under certain circumstances, my fears would be nil and my hopes tremendous. Now you know all. That's how I stand.
Oh, that's how you stand.
It's my duty to tell her all.
The dear fellow.
I will kill anyone who comes now.
I hope these happy conditions will be realized to your heart's content, Jack.
Oh, but Kitty, they will never be realized without you.
Without me.
Oh, now you're vexed with me. You hate the city. You despise the suburbs. You loathe Boston.
How could you say that, Jack?
Kitty?
As if I hadn't the heart to do what thousands of better girls than I have done.
Kitty?
As if I couldn't guess all the happy fun that is to be got out of cooking and mending and ministering to the wants and happinesses of the man that will work and strive for the woman he loves.
Kitty?
Try me, Jack. For I love you dearly.
You do, Kitty, you do.
As much as you love me, Jack.
Kitty!
My dear Kitty.
Oh, my dear Kitty. You're a prick. I've done it! In spite of the love of them, I've done it!
Oh, but what about my guardian, Mr. Spettigue?
Oh, I'll see him at once.
No, that won't do!
It won't do.
No. We must have his consent in writing.
In writing why?
So that he can't retract. Now, there's only one person who can get that for us. Dear boy, and send her to me at once.
All right, Amy.
No, not Amy. Charlie's aunt, Donna Lucia.
Donna Lucia. Kitty,
No, I don't ask any questions. Give me the boy. Send her to me at once, and I'll find Amy.
What is going on? Jack, I've done it! Did what?
I've let the cat out of the bag and I've told her everything.
Oh, you fool! What fool? Told her what?
That I love her.
Yes, but she's got to find Donna and Lucia to get her uncle's consent. We shall be in a dickens of a mess yet. Keep calm, man, keep calm. We're all right up to now. We're all right up to now. What is it, Babbs? Babbs, what?
When and how shall I earn his meter?
You'll drag us into an awful disgrace.
And a smashing good job, you don't even think you can say it to me! Why, I'll spank you!
What does he say? Yes, what does he say?
No, Charlie's too young.
Now get out, Babbs, that's nothing.
No, but it's very embarrassing. I mean, look how well I get on with the girls.
Yes, confound you, too well. Jack, I can live this lie no longer. You stop that, Charlie. But I wish to goodness you'd bring it all to an end.
So do I.
Now, Charlie, you know whether the safest little donkey would only behave himself with a name. I know all that, but he can't. He doesn't know how. As it is, the selfish little beast is ruining and spoiling everything.
I wish we asked Freddie Peel now.
You know, Freddie Peel would have stood by us like a man.
We were fools to trust him.
Selfish little beast.
When you think of all the misery he's brought us to,
I feel so infernally indignant. I could wring his head off. Look at him now.
Mr. Jones. Yes, sir. Have you seen Donna and Lucia? You forgot it. I say, you chaps, I can't take this anymore. Let Charlie have a go. His turn now.
Yeah, but let's get your braces. Take your hands out of your pockets. Just when we want an old spade you in his best humor, you have to go risk ruining everything with this fool of a game.
What game? I'm not going to marry old Spetterview. I can never be happy with a man like that.
we'd do anything for you.
Where's my antimachus, sir? Charlie, do I look all right from behind? What difficulty?
Yes, I want you to be an angel. Now, good job. Do go away. Yes, Charlie, do go away.
Yes, do go away. You want me to be an angel.
something. Look out and look at the tea. I've got to bring them all and stop this.
So you know where we left off, don't you?
Oh, yes. You're all in love and want to get married.
Well, yes. And we want you to get Uncle's consent, and yours too. And we want you to be an angel and do it.
An angel and do it? Do what?
Why, get Mr. Spedigue's consent. For both of us.
Both of you.
Yes, see, you'll give your consent to Charley and Amy, won't you?
Oh, yes, my dear. Nothing could be nicer.
Oh, you are so kind, but I'm first.
Do you want me to be one of your bridesmaids? Some other time.
See, you'll give your consent to Charley and Amy. But mine, being a legal affair, you understand, don't you?
Oh, your father's will, you mean?
Yes, my consent must be in writing.
In writing.
Yes, so he can't retract and you must get it.
Get it?
Yes, you must make him write a letter or something.
My dears, but I've no influence over him.
Oh, but you're so clever and so kind and so rich.
Oh, yes, and so rich. Remember? I gave away £0.50 only this morning.
And anyway, you must try. Oh, dear Donna Lucia, you say you would try. We're going away.
Oh, my dears, don't leave me.
We're going to Scotland.
I'm to Scotland. I know, a beautiful country where the kilts come from.
And anyway, do say you'll try. Oh, dear Donna Lucia, have you ever been in love?
Oh, yes, dozens of times. I mean, once in love, always in love, you know.
Well, then you never needs to have been, don't you? And you'll get his consent for us.
Do my best.
You can't say no now.
No, not now.
Well, we'll get Mr. Spedigue and send him to you at once.
Here's a fine position. Now I say, Brassett, would you get me a spot of tea and a bit of something to eat? And now here's old Spedigue.
Ah, there you are. Dear Donna Lucia, I have been looking for you all the afternoon. I have so much to say to you.
Mr.
that
Spedigue, Mr. Spedigue, would you introduce me to?
How annoying. Why couldn't she have kept away? Oh, certainly. Donna Lucia, Mrs. Buttercup Smith. Donna Lucia now.
How do you do? I'm Charley. Brazil. Where did that come from?
Do you know I'm most interested in meeting you?
Really?
Yes, I knew your late husband intimately.
She knew my late husband intimately.
Everything's going all right, isn't it?
No, she knew my late husband intimately.
You entertain. Donna Lucia, will you pour out tea?
Oh, certainly.
What a cruel interruption. We were getting on so nicely.
We'll take tea.
You haven't been in England long, have you?
Change the subject.
You take sugar and cream?
You take sugar and cream. Ask her if she takes sugar and cream. Ask her if she takes sugar and cream.
I should like a little sugar and cream.
And my head, my head.
I must keep her in the humor. I must see her alone. I have it. They must come to dinner at my house. After dinner. That's the time for my purpose. Beg pardon, but I have a little proposition to make. Mr. Spedigue's carriage. Capital, the very thing. Now, I should like all of you to come and stay and dine at my house. You will return with me in the carriage now, Donna Lucia.
I can't, it's impossible.
You will take no denial. I want you, all of you, to come.
I have my niece with me, Miss Delahaye.
Miss Delahaye, bring her to
What?
my kid. No, I can't. My things.
Oh, no.
There they go again. Well, dinner's pretty well over now, and they'll be in here pretty soon. Fancy. Old Spettigue getting me to come here tonight to butler for him. But I suppose he is to be to have a butler of his own. Well, all I can say is it's simply marvellous the way his lordship has kept it up. Plays a perfect lady, something wonderful. There they go again. Well, the worst, when it come to the worst, I have his lordship's dress clothes with me.
Grasset, get me a fly quick! I'm going home! He'd be getting on all right if only paid more attention to old Spettigue. What did you pull from the dinner table like that for?
It's awful dangerous and unkind of you, you know.
Instead of acting in a dignified manner as Charley's aunt, here you are, like some disgraceful old... Go on, finish it. Spare me. Come on, Babbs, this game won't do.
Think of the girls and the solemn promise you came to help us. For their sakes.
But she wasn't here then. She who? The little girl. What little girl? Miss Delahaye. Oh, the girl with Mrs. What's her name? Smythe? Yes, Miss Butterscotch Smythe's niece. What of her? She's the little girl I met at Monte Carlo. And this Butterscotch woman is the one who took her away. And I'm off. So, Charley, quick. You want to see this mess? Well, of all the beastly, ungrateful things to say, what possible difference can it make to you now? Oh, I want to talk to her! What's about? I want to tell her what you fellows have been telling your girls! Hang it, I'm just as much in love as you are!
Jack, they'll hear everything.
I wasn't ever such an idiot! No, there never was! I mean, look at me! I'm a disgrace to my sex! Worst comes to worst, put it in a fire and done. Take the bull with the tail for all I can. And what's more, you tell those girls of yours to leave off kissing me before her. I won't stand it! Don't shout, you idiot! And what's more, you, Charley, can think of some excuse to miss Verdun for me. What have you got to say to Miss Verdun? Come on, out with it. Haven't you promised to get old Spettige's consent in writing? I mean, look at you. You're like a couple of babies. You want your mothers with you.
This way, madam. They're coming.
How is your father, Mr. Wickham? We were afraid she might be ill.
Yes, is there anything the matter?
Auntie's been a little upset by the heat of the dining room, that's all.
The heat? I found it rather cold.
Oh, yes, Charley meant that. Cold. You see, Donna Lucy has lived so long in a warm climate. Oh, shut
Won't you try some hot They're so good.
Oh, yes, thank you. She's often like this, isn't she, Charley? What do you
Lucy is all right. Yes, is she? Oh, yes. Mrs. Chesney says she's all right.
Oh, go tell Mr. Spettigue he's most anxious and leave her with us.
Yes, we'll look after her now.
I say, you fellas, you're gonna leave me like this? Well, here's a fine position. I wonder what they'll talk about. I hope they'll be careful before me.
I wonder who she really is, Aunt. Oh, some old thing they got after receiving my telegram.
Say something to her, Auntie. I'd like to hear her talk.
I would, my dear, but look at her. If I thought they expected that to be like me, I'd never forgive her. The gentlemen seem to be enjoying themselves.
Oh, yes, they do indeed.
Yes, don't they? Do you know, I remember a very funny story
That's just what I was afraid of.
that Don Pedro was very fond of telling.
I must put a stop to this. Why doesn't one of the young ladies play something, please?
How rude of her to interrupt me like that.
Oh, she couldn't have heard you, Auntie.
Do tell us. Yes, anything about Don Pedro would be so interesting. Do tell us.
But perhaps Donna Lucia would prefer to tell Don Pedro's story herself.
Tom Pedro?
Your late husband. You know Don Pedro de Alvadores?
Well, of course I know his name. I just don't hold with any of his stories. I don't hold with such frivolity.
You don't tease us so. Tell the story yourself.
Well, Don Pedro, who was the kindest soul in all the world. But would Donna Lucia grant me her permission?
Oh, you won't mind if Mrs. Beverly Smile tells us the story, will you? Oh, and you'll listen, won't you?
Well, if I must, I must.
Well, as I said before, Don Pedro, who was the kindest soul in all the world, once found one of his cellarmen tipsy, very tipsy.
Die.
So Don Pedro, whom the man did not recognize.
Why, was Don Pedro tipsy?
No, the man was tipsy. Don Pedro was, of course, most abstemious. That is what makes the point of the story.
How is it?
So Don Pedro said to the man, what would Don Pedro say if he saw you like this?
Tipsy like this.
The man said, and that's where it's so funny.
Oh, is that where we laugh?
The man said, oh, that's all right. Don Pedro's often like this.
Tipsy. Silly story. I say, what was the man's name?
Really, I don't know the man's name.
That's a pity.
But don't you remember the story? It was a favorite of Don Pedro.
Perfectly. I remember I shrieked when I heard it first. I say, that reminds me of a very funny story. Why doesn't one of the young ladies play something?
Oh, I can't. I'm so out of practice. Why don't you sing something for us, Amy? Oh, I'm afraid I can't. I know nothing new.
Sing that charming little ballad. Ta-ra-ra!
I'm afraid I can't, Donna Lucia.
Won't you sing something for us, Donna Lucia?
Me?
Yes, one of those charming little Brazilian songs I've heard Don Pedro was so fond of.
No, I haven't sung since I had the measles. Over 40 years ago.
Another Labelle, I was the merest infant.
But I play a little. Smashing idea. I shan't have to talk, and I can drown out the conversation.
I hope you quite recovered from the shock my niece gave you earlier today.
I remember, I was a little upset, wasn't I?
Yes.
I suffer so much from giddiness. Were you ever giddy?
Never.
I was. What's Charley to be? A little Beethoven? Or Bluebells of Scotland? Do you know this one?
Come on, my dear friend, come on.
It must be right. Amy, in the moment I've got it. Will you take
Charming, charming. Look at him, Jack. What's he doing? Just staring at her like he did all through dinner. Fool. I must make an opportunity to speak to her alone. I say, it's a sweet evening. Perhaps some of you may enjoy a walk in the garden? No, thank you, sir. It's a sweet evening.
You've been enjoying yourselves capitally, Miss Verdun. We heard the music.
Oh, yes. Donna Lucia has been playing for us.
How jolly of you, Donna Lucia. Whatever should we have done without your dear Aunt Charley?
Oh, a moment, that you idiot. Are you fond of music, Mr. Spedigue?
I hope to be.
Why, are you taking lessons? What's he looking at me like that for? Like a boiled owl.
Jack, what do you think of Kitty? She's a splendid girl, isn't she?
I like her very much, Jack, I must say so.
You've taken quite a load off my mind. I thought it was altogether without means.
Not altogether, my boy. And you thought this matter well over.
Oh, night and day, Dad, ever since I first met her.
It's a serious step, my boy, a serious step.
Don't forget it must be in writing. Amy, let's get them all into the garden. Take Charley.
I'm glad I told her Dad now. But why won't you listen to reason?
I'll listen to reason, but why won't you give me the letter?
I remember I've not written it yet.
Not yet.
We must make an opportunity to speak it over alone.
That will be nice.
Why are you so depressed, Charlie? You ought to be very happy today.
Amy, sometimes great joys bring a sort of reaction. I shall be better tomorrow.
Let's go into the garden.
Oh, I told the dad blank out and he's delighted. But Kitty, you're sure you don't mind turning your back on society in a row
And my Monday for everybody else's rest of the week and have something real to think about. Oh, Jack, the vista's too heavenly. Let's go into the garden.
Shall we join them?
Yes, it's a charity to leave these two alone.
Indeed, why?
Only a little matchmaking mischief, that's all.
On Speditude's account?
No, on Donna Lucia's.
What? Lucia, they've gone.
You lose.
There you are, Lucia. How I have longed for this moment. I have so much to say to you.
I have nothing to say to you.
Lucia, don't say that. You
But I
wouldn't
do
be-
say that. After the promise you made me to treat me like this.
Promise?
The consent you promised in writing.
Lucia, how can you when we have so much to say that more nearly concerns ourselves?
No, we have not. You don't know me. I'm no ordinary woman.
I beg of you to listen to me.
I'll listen to you with pleasure. But why won't you give me the letter?
Will you hear me, Lucia?
I'll hear you with pleasure. But why won't you give me the letter?
Lucia, do I deserve this?
He deserves 6 months, the old idiot.
Lucia, you are a puzzle, an enigma.
How dare you! Until you give me the letter, all is over between us.
Lucia, that decides me. I go to my room. A brief note.
Signed and giving full consent. Don't forget.
Then say you will be mine.
Say anything you like, only don't be too long in the study. That's all right. I say, what devils we women are. What's too bad of those fellows? Why, I shall be an old woman for the rest of my life.
Auntie, did you find the air chili? Yes, my love. I thought it'd get a wrap of some kind.
Oh, I'll go upstairs and get something. I know where your things are.
Thanks. No, don't go. I wanted to talk to you about your late husband.
Now, that will be nice.
You know, when I met Don Pedro, he told me he had no wife.
Ah, but he was a cruel husband.
The Don Pedro I knew was noble, kind, and gentle.
That was his father, the old gentleman with the white mustache.
Pardon my curiosity, Donna Lucia, but have you any children?
Only a few, not to speak of.
Here's your hat, Auntie.
Thank you, my dear. I'm going into the garden. I fancy Sir Francis has something to say to me. And as it's rather chilly, perhaps you'd better stay in. Auntie says we're not to hint about our knowing that she's not Auntie. I'm sure she's only doing it to oblige him. Oh, don't go! Please.
It's only going into the garden.
Oh, it has turned quite chilly. Auntie sent me in from the garden because of that.
Can I get you a wrap of some kind or something?
Oh, no thank you. Auntie thinks I'm better here. I've been ill, you know.
No, but I didn't know.
Oh, I'm all right now, of course. If I take care.
Oh, yes, you must take great care.
Auntie, I fancy, is more particular than usual this evening. For you know, years ago, she and Sir Francis were sweethearts. But he went away without telling her that he was ever and ever so happy. to know father had become so ill and so poor, and lost a great sum of money to him at cards. Auntie thinks on purpose. I often wondered why they played cards, and Papa so ill too. But I asked the doctor if it wasn't doing him any harm, and he said, not the game that is being played. No, to have all the money now, and if ever we meet, I mean to give it back.
You mustn't do that. It would be like accusing him of a sort of cheating, you know.
But it was so much, enough, Auntie says, to make me independent for life.
Do you think he'd take it back if he knew that?
But I should feel it my duty.
It's too late now.
But he went away, before I had time to tell him how much I loved him. For his kindness to my poor father. Oh, you don't mind me telling you all this, do you? I don't know why, but I like to talk to you. I like you. And I do so long to see you
Is that the letter, Mr. Spettigue?
Yes, this is the letter. But first, make my happiness complete and say that from this blissful moment onward that we are engaged.
We are engaged.
Darling!
Is this the letter, Mr. Spettigue?
Call me Stephen.
Is this the letter, Steffi?
Yes, that is the letter, and we are betrothed.
We are betrothed.
Ah, Sir Francis, Mrs. Beverly Smythe, congratulate me, congratulate me. I'm the happiest man in the world.
I knew it.
But where are the children? Where are the dear children? This must be a day of happiness and rejoicing for us all, for us all.
What on earth does he mean? What's all this excitement about?
Can't you guess?
No.
Didn't I tell you what would happen if we left them alone?
Eh?
Don't you understand? She's accepted him.
What?
Yes, Donna Lucy Dialvadores.
You don't mean that.
I fancy he'll find out his mistake before long.
By George, what a fool I've been.
Why? Are you sorry?
No, it's just that rascal of a boy of mine made some sort of a stupid suggestion that I should...
That you should offer your hand and heart to Donna Lucia Dialvadores from Brazil, where the nuts come from.
When I think of what a fool I was, might have been, should have been.
Then you don't envy him,
Envy him?
but think of her millions.
Lucy, when I saw your face...
You didn't recognize it.
No, but when I did... Never mind. I told you all that in the garden just now. And you'll be content for a while with a cottage and your old sweetheart.
And you? You would take me, a penniless widow?
Nothing could make me happier.
Pray.
Lucy. What? What are you smiling at?
Oh, I was just thinking of
what?
Donna Lucia Dialvadores.
There. She's a quaint little figure I must own.
Auntie, did you find the air chilly?
I didn't notice, my love.
Auntie, how pretty you look tonight. Hi, Sir Francis.
Come along, my dear children, come along. Kitty, you sit there. Amy, there. I have something to tell you. Something that you will all be very pleased to hear. But where's Donna Lucia?
Donna Lucia's gone to her room, I fancy.
Perhaps it's just as well. Now, before she returns, I have a little secret to tell you. You will pardon me if I ask your attention for a few moments.
Good gracious, Jack, what's he going to say?
How do I know till he said it?
Situated as I am, a mateless uncle, a lonely widower with grave responsibilities, a good fairy has, may I say it, tripped in among us, bringing with her unexpected light and joy.
What does he mean?
Under her influences, I have consented to the engagement of my niece to a man in whose honor and probity I have no doubt, Mr. Charles Wickham.
Oh, Charlie, how sweet of you to your aunt.
Furthermore, charmed by irresistible spells, I have consented to the union of my ward to John, only son of my friend, Sir Francis Chesney. Sir Francis. But what will you say to a third engagement? A good fairy, nay, let me add without further metaphor, one whose name is honored in the southwestern hemisphere as that of Rothschild is in Europe, has consented to become Mrs. Stephen Spettigue. I allude, of course, to our dear friend, Donna Lucia de Alvadores.
Pardon, sir, the trace.
Be more careful, Bassett. Nothing can please me more on this joyous occasion.
I can listen to this gossip, Rocco, no longer.
Mr. Wickham, sir, what do you mean?
I say, sir, and I don't care what the results may be.
I presume, sir, that you're espousing my...
I can't. I won't espouse her. Not under these false and lying pretenses. That woman.
Do you allude in such a manner?
I say that woman.
I must beg of you to speak with more respect of your aunt.
She is not my aunt.
Not your aunt? What do you mean, sir?
I love Amy, pardon.
Never mind that, sir. Explain your words.
So may I interrupt and explain that
My business is with this young man, sir, and not with you. Explain your words.
I must tell his lordship of this.
My aunt, on whose account we invited Miss Verdun and Miss Pettigrew, telegraphed to say that she could not come. The ladies arrived, and well,
and I, sir, prevailed upon another person to
Impersonate her? I've been treacherously and infamously deceived.
it was not our intention, sir.
Don't lie to me, sir.
You forget, sir, you were not expected.
A front like that with a wig?
Don't blame her for that.
May I come in?
Turn that woman out of my house.
I say, may I come in?
I said to turn! Who are you, sir?
I'm Charlie's aunt. Where the nuts come?
Fancourt Babbly, you duffer.
Fancourt Babbly, and I beg your pardon.
Auntie, I told him everything.
What does this mean, sir?
It means we've all done very wrong, and we're all extremely sorry, and offer you our humblest apologies. My apologies, I should say, for if I hadn't offered the temptation. This would have never occurred.
And if Mr. Pettigrew would allow us to add our apologies.
And say there are no words with which we can express our contrition.
It's infamous, infamous! But where is the letter obtained from me under these false and lying pretenses?
The letter, well, I have the letter.
It's mine.
Give it! It's there, done, I demand it!
Allow me.
I shall dispute it. Under her father's will, I shall dispute it.
This letter is addressed and has been delivered to Donna Lucia de Alvadores.
But he, not Donna Lucia de Alvadores.
No, but I am.
You? My aunt. You will pardon me if I retire. As for you, sir, I shall inquire with the authorities your college in the morning.
Charlie! Can he have me up for breach of promise?
Mr. Wickham, I mean, how dare you? I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive any of you for treating Uncle Stephen like that.
Wait a moment, my dear. Your uncle should have the most profound reparation my influence can make. For my own part, I only shared in the deception when I found another lady established in my place.
So that's how she knew all about my late husband.
I'm as sorry as all of you, but I trust Jack with my life.
Indeed? Then he shall have to wait till I'm his mother. What?
Yes, Donna Lucia, deceiving me as much as anybody, however, has done me the honor of recollecting an old affection and has promised to assume that authority. So, look out, Jack.
Lord Fancourt Babbly, I'm afraid you've gained one confidence that nothing could excuse.
I know. And I reproach myself beyond expression. I wouldn't part with the memory of that confidence to save my life. And if Miss Delahaye is willing to allow me to say so, I am willing to atone for it with lifelong devotion.
Auntie.
Now, where's my son?
Here,
Mama.
And as for you, sir.
Oh, no, never again. I give you my word. I will give you the closing. I'm done. Miss Delahaye has consented to think me over as a husband. And in future, I resign to Sir Francis Chesney, all claims to Charlie's aunt. It was especially an honor for me to be in this play because my wife was directing and it was a lot of fun. And I would especially like to thank her. In fact, we got her something, and we got her something else that we are going to be giving her at the cast party.
Dr. Priest as well.
Week. Dr. Priest as well, so. Yeah. Jeannie, are you back there?
Yes.
Come on, up here. And Jeannie, 3 weeks ago when we were every other phrase saying, line please, Jeannie was the person sitting there with the book. Jeannie was the person that was getting everything. She has been there since the beginning, so we wanted to say thank you to her too.
Settled by a wealthy marriage?
Well, no, that's the sort of thing I'd rather deprecate.
Oh, no, it isn't that. My chum, Charley